Good morning, everybody, and welcome to my kitchen. We are going to bake some bread. It's first thing in the morning. It's the best time to get it going. It takes about 4 hours, but it's mixing everything together. You let it rest for 2 hours. Then we're going to drizzle some olive oil on top of the dough. We're gonna pull it out of the bowl and we're gonna put it into a butter loaf pan. Then it's gonna sit for another hour, and then we're going to move it from that point after the hour into the oven. So it's really easy. It's really nice to be able to have fresh baked bread in your kitchen and not have it full of preservatives. So I guess the real thing that hit home for me was when I bake this bread, it will go bad within a matter of a couple of days. It will start to mold. The bread that I have in the cupboard that I bought from the store will last for a week, sometimes a week and a half. So that tells me there's a lot of preservatives in there, stuff that we don't need. So let's get started. 3 cups of flour. And now we're gonna add in 1.5 teaspoons of salt, and I'm gonna use kosher salt. Half. Remember, 1.5 teaspoons of our salt. Now we need 1.5 teaspoons of instant yeast. So I've got this jar, it's active dry yeast. We're gonna do 1.5 teaspoons. And this is a cool measuring spoon from Pampered Chef. It's adjustable. So I can use the same one. I measured 1 teaspoon and now I'm gonna do the half. And the last, well, not the last, honey. This is your flavor, and you can do maple syrup, you can do honey, whatever it is that you have in your house. Whoops, and you want to do 1 tablespoon. Teaspoon, sorry, it's first thing in the morning. That's what happens. So usually I use my other, because this is great for pushing the honey out of it too, which I should have used this one. But I also wanted to show you that you could use it as a double measure spoon, because you can measure 1 teaspoon, and then push it up to half a teaspoon, and you're only dirtying 1. So I'm waiting for this honey to roll out. It's taking forever. Now, last but not least, is 1.5 cups of water. Now, it doesn't have to be warm. I use filtered water. Dump it in. And then we're gonna go down a little bit so you can see. Now I'm just gonna use a wooden spoon and I'm just gonna start mixing. And once we get this all incorporated, we're gonna cover it with a towel. Now the towel that I have found, and you can find one similar at the Dollar Tree. They're very, very light and it's almost see-through. So it's letting the warm air and all of that good stuff get it and let your dough rise for that 2 hours. So we're gonna mix this up really good. And I like to take and mix it where I'm getting mostly everything off the bowl. And then I know that it's all incorporated. So I'm not gonna end up with any spots of dry flour in my bread. So it just takes a little bit more effort, but as you can see, it's getting wetter as we're going around the bowl and everything is coming off. It's all wet, and that's what you want. You want it to be all wet and incorporated good together. This is what's gonna sit for 2 hours. And I just like to make sure that it's really doughy, it's really sticky, but it will roll off your bowl. So that's how I can tell that it's all really good and incorporated together. Now I'm just gonna try to, and there we go. And you can tell because look at everything on this spoon is nice and mixed. There's not spots of flour. So now what we're gonna do, and this is I got this from a thrift store, but it's almost see-through, and that's what you want. So I'm just gonna set it over the top, and then it's going to go on the back of the stove like that, and it's gonna set for 2 hours. So at 9 o'clock is when it's gonna be ready to be drizzled with olive oil and then pulled out and put in a loaf pan. So we'll be back.